Alright everyone, welcome back to Manifest Unloaded. Again, we're regular guys talking about regular things going on in our life and giving you the guy perspective and our opinion on current events and kind of what little subjects that we've got going on.
So what did you do this week? How did your work week go?
Well, I'd been off work for a while, first week back, and not a lot going on.
What'd you do? You had that COVID?
Yeah, no, I didn't have the COVID. You know what happened to me? I had personal issues. So
Your ED?
No,
No, I thought you were talking about your dysfunction.
No, I didn't have no dysfunction this week. I didn't know we were going to get into that, but as a matter of fact, while we're into it, you want to explain your problems on ED.
I'm good.
We'll go with that.
ED, I think he's a great guy, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Very good
smart guy.
Yeah, he is.
Got a good head on the shoulders.
Sometimes used to have a real good head on his shoulders. And he turned 40.
Yeah. I ain't funny.
Anyways, I just worked around the house, worked in the shop, building furniture, working on about to start a new project, do a farm table and a bench. What'd you get into?
Yeah, work. Doing a little construction work myself, little building, trying to tiny house, if you will.
Well, you talk about heavy equipment. We actually, at my job, we have a lot of heavy equipment right now. And a couple of months ago was the first time I'd ever gotten on a bulldozer.
Well, any piece of equipment you get on is going to be heavy.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, so I get on this bulldozer. What I didn't realize is there's no neutral in this guy.
Oh.
No, you go forward and backwards. And to get neutral, hydrostatic. Yeah. So, you have a neutral, but it's really sensitive in there. So I get on it. And this is before I got used to it. So I jump in there, and then I had the seatbelt on, but it was kind of loose. So I'm plowing it forward, driving up, and then I go to reverse it, and I'm just trying to kick it in neutral. So I pull it back to reverse, and it literally throws me into the front of the windshield. Worst experience ever with heavy equipment.
You gotta learn.
Yeah.
The best way to learn something is throw somebody on it.
Okay, we both work. You got a shop. You're all the time working with your hands, mechanic and stuff like that. I do woodworking. I know that I've got several different things to get into with this subject, but how many times have you got hurt in your shop?
Every day. Every time I plug something into an outlet.
You get shocked?
No. Whatever that tool is, it's going to get me.
Oh, is it?
One way or another before the end of the day. I'm literally healing now from my last incidences.
I was looking the other day in fluorescent light at the amount of scars that I literally have on my hands.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And it's crazy. And I guess that just comes from working with your hands all the years. But every trade that I've learned and gotten into, there's an injury that's accompanied that trade. When we worked at Pike, I remember the time I chopped my finger off, and that's that scar right there. I was up holding a branch, cutting it with a little 019 skill saw. So I chopped the limb, and then it went right on through to my finger. Of course, that was several stitches. Sewed that back up.
That's funny you say that, because the pole saw did the same thing to me.
Did it?
But it's on the pole, hydraulic pole saw turning at God knows how many RPMs.
Well, better the pole saw than the circular.
An unguarded skill saw blade just at the end of a pole. How safe?
Well, that would be the circular saw, right?
Yeah, that was a circular saw.
Oh, and you got hit with that?
Yeah, on my whole hand.
Is that what that scar is?
I almost cut my arm off.
I tell you, I think Pike
all in all. Branches like this. My arm was nothing. Thank God I had chopped the limb first before it hit my hand or my wrist.
I think all in all, Pike was definitely the most dangerous job that I've ever had. And climbing trees, I was telling.
Dangerous. I just say it's the one I actually got hurt at the most.
Yeah. I was telling my family about. We were out there, and I think I was 19 or 20. So we go out there, quickly we learned, and we were basically tree surgeons. They expected us to climb these big pine trees and limb them down with a chainsaw in our hands and work on hooks. And, and I remember being terrified the first time I got out there and climbed the tree. But actually.
Tree gaffs, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. But I actually got to where I enjoyed doing it. And
I miss it.
Yeah. But to look back at it now, 40-year-old Daniel, looking back at, say, 20-year-old Daniel, I get out there and I would say there's no way in hell I'd be climbing these trees anymore.
I know, I ain't got to climb it. That's what the bucket truck was for.
Yeah, but we climbed it.
Oh, I know, but I just missed the smell of the wood, cutting that wood in the morning, and, and all kind of different types of wood, whether it be pine or sweet gum or poplar or whatever, there's different smells and all.
Yeah. I get that in my shop sometimes too.
I loved it.
Yeah,
definitely. I love cutting all kind of different woods.
There's nothing like the smell of wood. But you like the taste of wood too? Is that just the smell? That's what you're into?
Yeah, that's the smell.
What about kicking out? Did you ever kick out?
Yeah, I kicked out a few times.
That job actually had a lot of perk. I mean, it was dangerous. It was dangerous, but it
lunch break, jumping out the bucket into ponds and stuff.
Yeah. Our lunch break. This is what we did on our lunch. Well, you tell them. You probably remember it better than me.
It was summertime, man. We found a good pond and we pull up to it, back the bucket truck up, lean the bucket out over the water, run down and dive off. Had a big dive board.
So you could basically adjust the bucket up over the river to as high as you wanted it to, jump out, and which I didn't go very high because again I'm not a good swimmer, but I do remember doing it and swinging on the harness.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, I did something real stupid one day. So I took my clothes off.
Yeah, that's real stupid.
Yeah. When I put the harness on, then I put my clothes on over the harness. Ooh. And pulled the harness out the back of my collar. And I got my cousin to boom out over the top of the highway, and I climbed down the bucket. It was hanging on the highway like this. But I about caused a massive wreck because they thought I was hanging myself.
That's crazy. That's
hilarious.
There's a ton of stories to come from that job. You sliced your knee open one time. I remember that.
My leg. Yeah, I cut my leg with a chainsaw.
So there's our parents out there, and your son comes up to you and takes an interest in working, right away work or working for a powerline company. Keep in mind, this is really, really dangerous work. So
make sure they get their own insurance.
Yeah, and sometimes the equipment's not good.
I remember when you was going through the ditch, you was going ham, and you had your chaps on, and there was just white wool flying everywhere, and you didn't even realize that you was cutting the chaps. You was chewing them all in pieces, and it was just slinging white stuff. I don't know what it's.
What about the time I was trimming in, I think Hazelhurst, trimming the tree? The bolt started coming out of the bucket truck.
No, the gear or something broke on your turntable.
Yeah, I was adjusting the handle. I was adjusting the handle, and keep in mind, in these bucket trucks, we boom away from the power lines and trim the trees. Well, I was up there, and then all of a sudden I had no control. I could go up and down, but I couldn't go side to side. So I turn around and I look at my supervisor, and then I look at Bobby, and I say, I don't have any control. Well, at that same time, due to the balance of the bucket, it starts leaning back towards the power lines. Mm-hmm. And if you hit those power lines, that's game over.
14,400 volts.
Yeah, 14,400 volts, and that's
pretty
much lights out. Luckily, I still had up and down, so I was able to go under it, and only the top of the bucket arced it. But,
I remember yesterday. You dug out. All you hear is
scared as hell because I thought that was a wrap. Then that was a wrap. That job was such a dangerous job, and so many
things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm. And then tell the story about the supervisor that you had,
Larry.
Okay, we'll call him Larry.
Larry went to prison.
Yeah.
For murder. And he was a crazy dude, man.
Yeah. Do you remember the story?
After he murdered a dude.
What he did?
The guy that he killed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell the story.
I gotta what he done?
Yeah, I'm sure they want to know. We can't just.
Well, I won't get into the details.
I'll get into the details.
Well, it was his best. I he was at the bar. From the story that we all heard and everything else, mm-hmm. Anyways, at the bar, and it was actually the guy was a really good friend, lifelong mm-hmm. friend, and they had an altercation, I guess, with
over a female.
No, I think it was over drugs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Money or something owed for drugs or whatever.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyways, there was altercation, and he cut him. He reached across and cut him at the shoulder, and he kept that knife on his like a Bowie knife.
Yeah.
And do a shave with it, you know. Mm-hmm. And anywho, he cut him and kicked him out the truck and hauled butt and went down a said road, threw the knife out. Well, it landed in a log, sticking out the water, so it wasn't hard to find. Mm-hmm. But you know, he told him everything. He told him everything.
But was it that next day? Because I remember we come to work that morning and he told us just nonchalant. We were like, you know, at the show up, we're like, what everybody get into last night? And he said, I killed a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And we just looked at each other stone faced, like with this guy, he was the type of guy that you know, he would say with dry humor some things. So you would think, well, is he joking? But then he also had a serious side of him to where we, you know, semi-believed him. And then by about 9:30 that morning, some of the other workers come to us and they're like, hey, did you hear about...
Yeah, he was gone. Did
you hear about... Yeah, did you hear about him? And we're like, what? And he had left. And we're like, no, what's going on? We're like, he killed a guy last night. And we're like, we were working with a murderer this whole time?
I thought that's crazy, but I witnessed him attempt to kill a coworker one day.
Yeah.
Trying to feed him in a chipper.
Yeah.
But he prayed now on his behalf. He told the boy, he's like, leave me alone. Go on, quit aggravating, da-da-da. You keep on, I'm going to kill your ass. And like, he told him, okay, I guess old dude thought he was joking, and he wasn't.
No.
He tried to kill him.
Yeah.
he tried to grind him up, put him in the back of a chip truck.
Yeah. So,
legit.
So, needless to say, it didn't really hurt my feelings when he didn't work there no longer.
No, I felt safer.
Yeah. I guess the separation of working directly for a later to be convicted murderer is, you know, a little bit of...
Honestly, though, he was a good guy. I think it was just...
Well, that's a hell of a qualifier.
The drugs and, you know, I think it was just whatever, you know, state he was in when it happened, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was very...
Well, you know, that's a story that I've heard, you know, in my job a lot, you know, that, well, such and such is a good guy. And then you know...
It's the heat of the moment type thing. I mean,
but, you know, murder...
is murder.
Murder is murder. I mean, you know, so what qualifies as a good guy? Maybe you're a good guy up until the point to where you murder somebody, and then you're like, well, maybe you might need to rethink that good guy status.
I don't know, man.
He's a good guy to go fishing with, but you don't want to get in an argument with him because you might not wake up.
Right. I mean, I feel like I'm a great guy, but I mean, there's been a couple of people I didn't really care for.
How many have you murdered?
I mean, none.
Yeah, me neither.
I thought about it.
All right, this week from Off the Grill, a segment where we talk about recipes and tips that we cook. Listen, if you have a Blackstone or even a griddle, and if you don't have a griddle, you can use a cast iron pan. I don't know if it'll give you the same effect, but I'm sure that you can get a similar effect. But I've grilled chicken wings forever, and chicken wings are good on the grill. But to me, the way to cook chicken wings is on a Blackstone or on a griddle, because I'm telling you, it gives them the perfect crust, and they cook fairly quick. But
and they're a little healthier.
Yeah, they're a little healthier, I guess. I mean, use a lot of oil on the Blackstone, so I don't know. But as far as the consistency of a chicken wing, especially your flats, 10 times better, on a griddle. So what all did you guys flavor your wings with? I use just salt and pepper and a little, maybe a touch of Lowry seasoned salt, and that's it for my wings.
Yeah.
And then I'll flavor the sauce. As far as just the wing itself, simple salt and pepper.
No seasonings.
Yeah.
You go from your, from your bin to your baskets, if you fry them or grill them. Well, if you grill them, now we would dust them down with some seasoning, and it would basically depend on what seasoning they're wanting to begin with.
Yeah.
We had over 365 combined flavors at the restaurant. So tons of choices. But your fried wings, you just fry them till they're done, bring them out, whatever sauce you want, whether it be, the redneck or Caribbean jerk, Jamaican jerk, lemon pepper, whatever you wanted. They choose their heat. If they didn't want heat, a lot of times we put like the whirl, which is that's like an artificial butter, and squirt that in there. Just give it something to stick to, and shake the powder seasoning on them. Lemon pepper, whatever. Man, and it's hard to beat the lemon pepper wing.
Yeah. Anytime I do the wings, I'll cook them on the Blackstone, and then if I have company coming over, I'll go ahead and put my sauce separate, either on the edge of the Blackstone, or I'll put it on the stove on low and let it simmer, and then I'll take the wings immediately from the Blackstone, put them in that sauce.
Yeah.
And
so you heat your sauce?
Mm-hmm. Low heated. So that way, as soon as they come off the grill, while the meat is still kind of receptive to moisture, I'll dump it right in there, that sauce, and let it just soak in.
Yeah.
And then that way, it's kind of like, I guess the sauce just kind of permeates the wing. I mean, it's just, that's the way I like to eat them.
Right. I got you.
So that's kind of the tip this week on food. You got anything else on food?
Eat it. Enjoy it.
Eat it. Enjoy it. Eat it with
makes
friends.
some great chicken. So,
yeah.
Like, seriously, if he says something, I mean, it's worth a try. You was telling me something a while back. You was talking about tenderizing your steaks that you used, pineapple juice or something?
Yeah, no, I did do that. I soaked them in pineapple juice and also kosher salt, and just dumped the kosher salt in there and let it soak in the pineapple juice. Now, that's a good way to give, if you've got time to let them sit out, just heavy coat it with the kosher salt and let them soak in, about an inch worth of pineapple juice, and also makes your steak a little bit of a Caribbean type flavor.
Yeah.
And,
I haven't tried it yet. I remember you telling me that.
It's good, but as far as like tenderizing for me, and I just did some steaks the other night.
I mean, I tried eating yours.
Yeah.
I just ain't tried doing it myself as far as.
Yeah, that's a good way of tenderizing. If you have a tough cut of meat, like if you can't get anything with some marbling.
Like the ones we got from that bootleg guy that comes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's actually where I was. That's where I figured that out. Is we bought some frozen steaks from a guy that sold them by the highway for like, I think he sold me all kind of T-bones and everything. $80.
They was okay, but they was tough.
They were real tough, and no matter what you did, they remained tough. But I bought that tool off of Amazon, and I meant to link that last week, but I'll put a picture up in this segment. And this tool does really good as far as tenderizing a tough steak, and also the pineapple juice with the kosher salt on top, that worked to a degree, and but it kind of puts a little sweeter Caribbean style flavor to your steak.
That's where it all goes down to your cut of meat, though.
Yeah.
These things he was selling, they looked pretty in the packaging. It wasn't an Omaha steak.
No,
it was rough. Like
no. So that's a tip. That's a tip. If you see a guy selling frozen steaks on the side of the road, stay the hell away from them, because they're never as good as what the best way to get a steak is just pay for your steak.
Right.
Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. If it's an extra $2 to get a ribeye with a lot of marbling, just spend it, because at the end of the day, if you were to go out to a steakhouse, you're going to pay $40-$50 for a good plate of a big steak. Man. Yeah, I mean,
I paid more than that.
Yeah, so
and it was worth it.
Yeah, so don't that.
If you get a good steak, man, it's worth it.
Yeah, don't go cheap on your steaks.
If you know how to age a steak, that's where it's at, though.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a place when I was working in Memphis, Tennessee. It was called the Butcher Shop, and it literally was. It was at the fairgrounds, and that's what or what I'm trying to say, the arena area where they would bring the cattle, drop it off. So you literally are buying fresh livestock that's brought in, but they age it. And the piece of steak I got, I hate to say it, I went with my cousin. We worked together, and it was Valentine's, so we went on Valentine's date and had steaks together.
Well, it's South Georgia, so you took your cousin on a date.
It was Memphis, Tennessee, where this happened at.
Yeah, but you know the stigma about the South now. If you're dating your cousin, then
he's a dude, though.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you did it.
Listen, how I did it was we got that low special they had because it was the Lovebird special or whatever, and we got 2 steaks and our side like it was a combo for Valentine's, but that's what we done.
Yeah.
But the steak.
So basically, YouTube consists of several million people that'll view this, and what you just did is admit to the world that you went on a Valentine's date with a man.
Exactly.
To save a little bit of money.
No, because I was 11 hours from my house, and I said, I want a steak. And he said, me too. And we went on a dang steak. And it just happened to be Valentine's Day.
But the facts here is 1, you went on a Valentine's Day date with a man.
Yep.
2, you went to get meat.
Yep. Love you guys.
Shout out.
I love you guys.
So we're going to come at you guys with a different section. And we live in Georgia. In Georgia, we actually are, say, 10 miles from the Okefenokee Swamp. Yeah. And there's all sorts of things that happen in this swamp. And growing up, we've seen, tons of weird different things that are kind of unexplainable. But
the sploot light.
Yeah, the sploot light. There are supposedly swamp gases. I did some research, and supposedly there was a Bigfoot sighting. And, and then...
That was my cousin Larry.
Yeah, well, I think they never got him. But I'm going to share a story with you guys that right out here in local Okefenokee Swamp on Chester Island about giants.
Yeah.
So I'll read it real quick, and then we'll discuss it.
Giants is real. You ain't never seen some of them Tatums and them Thrifts? Some big old folks.
Oh, Lord. All right, here we go. So giants in the swamp. It says... Native Americans inhabited the Okefenokee for thousands of years, leaving a number of low earthen mounds in which they buried their honored dead. One or more prominent islands in the swamps called Chester Island. It was owned by the Chester family for generations. In 1969, Tom Chester informed the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Sunday magazine that he had been hired in the 1920s by a university professor to excavate a mound on his property. 13 skeletons were revealed. Some of the skeletons were crossed, Chester said, one on top of the other. Some were face down. All of them were perfect when they were first discovered. Teeth even still had some glaze on them, but when air struck, it crumbled them. They were giants. Those jawbones would go over my whole face. Chester Island, now within the Okefenokee Wildlife Refuge, is part of Chester Homestead, reached via the eastern entrance of the swamp. The Indian mound spoken about is still on the grounds. So this is basically in Waycross. As soon as you go out, you'll see Chester Island.
Yeah, did it say how big they were or anything?
Well, it did in some other research that there was actually an article put forth that same time, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution article, and I looked that up too, and basically it mimics what's in this book. This book, Weird Georgia by Jim Miles, and we'll be doing a segment, and we'll cover some things from this book and other just weird things in our state. But there's actually a documentary you were telling me about on giants.
Oh, you talking about the one over in like Afghanistan or wherever? Yeah, that was over in Afghanistan or something, where they had some troops that was lost or something, and they went to find them, and they ended up going into this cave and had a big fight with a giant, like wielding a spear. And they ended up killing the giant or whatever, and I think all the guys that they were searching for was dead. Like they found remnants and stuff, and they were dead. And I can't remember the name. They got a name for it and everything, but
is this it?
They got squashed.
The giant of Kandahar and the lost race of the Nephilim. All right.
Well, I think that's it. Let's look. Somebody had blazing red hair. All this. That's it.
Okay, so yeah, there he is. Okay, we're looking at a picture. Maybe we'll show you guys.
Well, of course, to
draw a picture. But basically, there was a military crew that went into Afghanistan that supposedly come up on a giant, and the giant murdered him.
12 foot tall, weighed 1,200 pounds. That's like a little more than double me, but way more heavier. If I was a double me in height and weight, I would only be like 610 pounds and Something like that.
So supposedly there's witnesses to this, and the U.S. government is supposedly hiding it.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about
and
it.
It says he was 13 feet, red-headed, 6-digit, double-toothed humanoid emerged and attacked this crew. This was back in 2002 and in Afghanistan. So comment below if you guys know anything about this story or giants, or you believe in giants in general. But I have actually, since reading this article, kind of Googled and went into it. And there's actually been several sightings of skeletons of giants.
Yeah, all over the world.
But, and, the Neanderthals back in the day, the early humanoids were actually, around 2 foot taller than the normal human. So, so they could be Neanderthals that they discovered.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I know you believe in giants.
Yeah, I actually do.
They're bigger than you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I mean, seriously, like all over the world, places in Texas, they found like underground cities and things that used to exist. Mm-hmm. And it's just been covered up, I guess, by time or whatever. And they found giants, and like they found stairways that was like 3 foot in between steps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a whole underground. I'll have to find the link for you. But there's a place in Texas where they've been excavating it, and there's this huge wall, and it's 20-something foot tall wall, and like I said, the steps are 3 foot in between steps.
Well,
that's what their normal. That would have been their normal stride, a 3 foot. That's crazy. That's a big dude.
Well, it very well could be. I mean, there's tons of things going on that the government is, releasing. I mean, just last year they actually, for the first time, released actual video of UFOs. Yeah. Remember that? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but
the pilot showing the UFOs, and that was the first time they actually went official and said, okay, we do have some unidentified flying objects.
I've seen some crazy stuff in like real life.
Yeah,
flying around the sky that I totally believe there's UFOs.
Well, and
no, I ain't saying it ain't the military with some stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's some things flying in the air that
unknown to us.
Right, it don't make no sense to me.
And if you think about it,
or no sound,
UFOs in general. Think about technology. Well, drones, for instance. We just the public probably just got familiar with drones in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But the government could have had that technology for years and years, so they could have been flying drones for years. Yeah. So
totally
and we'll get into that because actually in the same book, there's a couple of segments on UFOs and UFO sightings in our town. And in the 70s, Jimmy Carter, the president, actually spotted a UFO, and he was the first president to go on record saying that him and several of his friends at a Lions Club meeting actually saw UFOs.
I believe it, man. There's no telling what we don't know about.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You never know. The government has in their opinion, a right to protect the public, and and if they deem this information should be classified to protect the public, then we will never know about it until somebody comes along and declassifies it.
That's right.
But yeah, that's a segment that we're going to get into every week. As we'll call it Weird Georgia, and in remembrance of Jim Miles, actually author that went around to all the local Georgia towns and would hear these crazy stories about little weird stories, and he would cover them. So that's something that I think we should kind of share, and if anything piques your interest.
Oh yeah, and if you've never been to Okefenokee Swamp, if you're an out of town viewer, it's something to check out there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, if nothing else, look at the big 15-foot alligators.
Yeah, well, no, there's just a lot of history and heritage there. From whether it be from the Indians or your early settlers of how they worked in the swamp and harvest timber, and some of the trees that they harvested. Man, these cypresses were huge. I'm talking like bigger than this room.
Anyways, I guess we're gonna get to closing for this week, and we'll be back next week. And again, like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, any information. If you guys have heard of giants or have any giant stories, let us know.
Or just something weird that's happened to you personally that you can vouch for. Like just a family story. I mean, because like the UFO thing, me and my family, we've seen some unexplainable things. Like, so give us some feedback on that.
I actually have family that are unexplainable.
You really do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good case to be made that they are an alien.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything.
No, because you got some in your family too.
I'm not gonna pick on you because you're gonna pick that. But no, seriously, like, subscribe, man. Give us some feedback. Let us know what's going on in your lives, and if y'all got questions or stories or something you want to share, let us know.
And we'll keep coming at y'all with more guy talk. Manifest Unloaded. Again, we're on Apple, Spotify, all the major podcast providers, as well as YouTube. And that's it. Anything else?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. See you next time.
Love y'all.
Good.